All right, boys and girls, as you know, we're getting close to starting this thing up. While I'm still waiting on one or two last minute parts, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the fluid in this newly built engine. So here we go. All right, first thing I'm gonna put in here is the coolant. I'm going with the original Porsche stuff. I hear that any of the pink stuff from AutoZone or whatever for the European cars should be fine, but those 50/50 bottles were still like $18 or $19 a piece per gallon. This is concentrated, so this will make 2 gallons, and it was $40 a gallon, just under $40. So it's not really, it's a couple bucks more, and I'm getting the real Porsche stuff. We're cutting it with distilled water, and I'm using my OEM Tools AirVac coolant refiller. If you guys don't have one of these, I'm gonna put a link to it. Got it on Amazon. It is fantastic. And to fill any Porsche, you definitely want to use this vacuum system. What it's gonna do is we're gonna attach it here. It's gonna suck out all of the air, create a vacuum in our system, and then it's going to suck in to replace all of where the air was, the nice fresh coolant. So that way you're not gonna have any bubbles in your system. You don't have to rely on this thing. Especially important on starting up an engine for the very first time where you don't want any air in your system. Now, I'm not gonna show you the full setup and use of this. I have a couple other videos where I do that. Check out my Boxster coolant fill video if you wanna see it actually fully in use and how to use everything. All right, it's running, it's starting to create the vacuum. You can see the hoses collapse like that. Close that now. Stop that. It should hold vacuum, so we can let it sit here for a while, and this will tell us if we have any leaks. So the big question is, how much coolant will a completely empty system take? That is a great question. Here is 4 gallons. So this is the 2 gallons of Porsche coolant mixed with water, 50/50. And I got extra water on standby to make sure this stays full as we start sucking it in. All right, with all the air out of our system, I opened up just a tiny bit to start drawing some of this in to get the air out of the tube. Not really necessary, but now to just make sure that I keep this thing submerged the whole time. And then you just crack this one open, and you'll see the liquid start going into your system, and eventually that pressure will go down as it fills with coolant. So I'm just gonna open that all the way, and it's gonna start going really fast, filling it up. Eventually this will open back up, and we'll have coolant in there. So I just gotta keep an eye on this. Have more water opened and ready on standby. And I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna need at least 5 gallons, if not more. So let's go ahead and put the 5th gallon in here. Put 4.5 and be brave, let it sit. All right, we can see there's very little pressure now. It is still very slowly sucking some in, and you can see we've really only used about 4 gallons still. All right, there she is, done. Yeah, it was just barely over 4 gallons. Ended up using probably 3/4 of this gallon of water, and yeah, that's probably what's left in there. For my 997, it was this 35mm adapter, all rinsed off, ready for the next time. And I'll go ahead and put this coolant back in one of these bottles, mark it as mixed 50/50. And look at that, already right between the min and max. After adding the coolant, I see a tiny little drop here on the ground, looking under the car. With a nice, beautifully clean engine, it's easy to see where that is coming from. And interestingly, this little plug here does not have a witness mark on it. So this was never torqued down. I guess it was just always on here after we cleaned it perhaps, but I guess I should find the torque spec and tighten that up. 5mm hex, and I couldn't find a torque spec, but everything else around there was 10 Newton meters, so let's go 10 Newton meters on this guy. I already tightened it up some. Might need to go more than 10. That was light, but it's not leaking now. Found it. Drain plug, 15 Newton meters. But we're tight now, no leaks.